Yes, Alan, welcome. Your audio is off, Alan. Are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay, welcome. Panel MCK Talks. I don't know. On my side, Alan, you're this side. That is our software in here. You had so many comments on YouTube, man. People are interested in what you're doing. It's a bit broad. Upstairs, and Nisoft is the mind behind the first ever, and I say Spotify in Uganda. I mean, like a tune core in Uganda is called Omuziki. It distributes like for the big Uganda. He will name some if they're okay to name them. So at least, remember last time you were saying we can build these things. Why I put him today? Saying there's an idea you told me. Why don't we do an African kind of tune core where everybody that wants only African music or African music, we're not using any more Spotify or Shazam to come up. But today our target was more so. We shall cover that later. I'm MCSK. Our target today was more so how the UPRS is going to track down the music of these artists. That is from every gadget that is streaming it to every flash disk, every computer, every club, every district, every radio. So I don't know if Nis, you want to start with a preamble from yourself, then we'll go ahead with the discussion because me and him have already talked a lot. You can just break down who Nis Solutions is, what Omuziki is about.
Yeah, thank you, MC Katz. I'm happy to be hosted today with MC Katz UG talk. My name is Dennis Wantate, and I run Omuziki Distribution, a platform for African independent artists or record labels. Of course, where someone creates an account, uploads their music directly to these platforms. And we have a lot of tools. We have been coming up with promotional tools where we want artists to come to have
Somebody's internet is off.
All tools under one dashboard. So Omuziki is all over Africa. We are in Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, and we are planning to have offices in all the mentioned countries so that we can assist our artists directly and in languages they understand. We've noticed here in Uganda, you explain someone in English, you speak about metadata, they look angas, they really don't know what you're talking about. You speak about a release, they don't know what you're talking about. So you rather speak their language, make them understand, and probably make them earn or own their content to the fullest. So that is what Omuziki is.
So just a brief one. So Omuziki say in Kenya, it will be in Swahili.
Yeah, we have people who speak Swahili in Kenya. Actually, Kenyans.
I mean, like the way you log in into Omuziki and all that, you're going to change the language from English to...
We're adding more languages. We're adding Swahili first, yes.
Okay, now we go back to the man this side, Alan. Today, I don't know where to start from. The last time we talked, you said it's impossible to go manual on copyright. We have to use software. Now, let's start with, for instance, a man like Omuziki. He's already collecting money on internet, but by now, I think we should be using Omuziki. If these people are organized, that's why I've called them, and they're not here, but let's keep the discussions going. They could be talking to a man like Omuziki to help them learn this software to collect the music, because I don't think they're gonna... I'm seeing them in the district, they're going all over the country telling people about UPRS. But like you said, I don't think they'll be able to do it if they go manual. Tell us about that. Let's start from how best can we collect loyalties with the UPRS?
Kat, thank you for hosting me once again. It's a pleasure. Yeah, I actually have quite a lot to say, but I didn't want to go technical first. I wanted to first talk about a few things. Yeah, because I believe even before we can actually talk about how to encourage more revenue or maybe better revenue streams and all that, I think there's some bit of stuff that we need to address. And I don't know if you can allow me maybe start from that angle.
No problem. No problem.
All right. Otherwise, I'm happy to to meet with Nisoft. I like what he is doing. That is a very good stuff that he's doing right there. So all right. Today allow me to start from okay. In the first episode, we talked about software, okay, and we talked about audio fingerprinting and copyright systems. In my opinion, the copyright systems is like the car. The copyright system is like the car, okay? But today, I want to talk about the driver, which is the artist and the industry player, okay? Now, you can notice that you can give like a you can give a patient the best medicine in the world, but if their lifestyle is toxic, the medicine won't save them. So before we build the African music or operating system, we need to address the mindset, the character, and the market landscape that will determine if this system succeeds or fails. Okay? Now, one thing for sure is that you see, people often ask me, Katz, especially Ugandans. They ask me, Alan, why do you work mostly with white people instead of our own people in Uganda? Well, here's the honest answer I'm gonna give them, because even this I saw many people asked in the comment section on the first episode. Now, look, the white man is quick to discover and value talent. When a white man sees potential in you, they know your value. You get. So in Africa, unfortunately, we often have the in quotes I can say the enemy of progress mentality. Okay, so if I see you rising, instead of yeah. So if I see you rising, instead of partnering with you, I get jealous. I want to be the only big man, the only big fish. So if you are a junior, I must keep you as a junior so I can feel superior. You understand? The consequence for this is that we kill our own talent. We force our best brains, like for example myself and even many others, to leave the country or work with international firms, because home does not respect us. So we cannot compete globally if we are busy fighting each other locally. You get? This is not the government's fault. This is our fault. You get? And furthermore, speaking about what brings me what brings me on this podcast, MC Katz is a veteran, and I'm gonna make this very clear. This brings me to the local king problem. The local king problem. Many Ugandan musicians feel like gods because they are famous in Kampala. They get free VIP treatment. They are worshipped by fans. You understand? They feel they have arrived. You get? But the mistake with this is that because of this small frame, and I call it small because they underestimate the experts living right next to them. Look at Nisoft. You get? So they think they think like I am the star who is the you feel like who is the business manager. You get? I am the one holding the microphone. You understand? They try to be their own manager, their own accountant, their own PR. They treat professionals like fans or jokers. You get. Now the reality check here.
The ones gaining from them. They're
Exactly.
doing them favors and all that.
Exactly. Now the reality check here.
Let's go to the driver now. You're ready. Talk about the driver. All these people are now touring the entire country, and I guess this is a problem because most of the comments on the previous thing are not even some are not from Uganda. Now that we've got to a point whereby people want to pick their loyalties, let's talk the technicality of how it's going to be done.
Now, the technical landscape we are trying to fix, MC Cut. I have done some research, and this is what we have here. Uganda, we have something like a vacuum. We have no functioning digital system. It is a manual. You get. In fact, I'm surprised to come across Nisoft. In fact, I would like us to give him time so I can understand his thing. But it is a manual. Who knows who game? You get me? This is why we are having this conversation. In Kenya, there is a trust crisis. I saw a lot of Kenyans in the comments. There is a trust crisis in Kenya. Bodies like MCSK, Frisk, KMP exist. They have tried some systems, even partnering with WIPO. You get? But the artists do not trust them. And without trust, software is useless. Look at South Africa and Nigeria. In South Africa, in South Africa, it's something like SAMRO and Kapaso. I think it's the same thing, you know, which is advanced. It is digital, but still bureaucratic. The same problem in Nigeria. Their success is not just government software, though. Although their governments try to do something, but it is actually the business structure. You get? I'll give you an example of Diamond Platnumz in Tanzania. Should I?
Yeah, true.
He is the perfect example here, because he didn't just sing. He built a corporation. You get? Look at Wasafi Media. Look at the betting. Look at the shop. You get? He partnered with the Warner Music for distribution, but kept his base where? In Africa. You get? He is not a local king. He's an African giant. An example. Yeah, you can go.
It's something I don't get when he partners with Warner. You talk like three companies he partnered with. Take us through each company, what exactly each company is doing when you say partnering with like 4 or 5 people. Because people here think Diamond blew outside all over Africa because of singing and videos. Yet there's a lot of back-end work that nobody says.
You know, Carter, that is why I think I felt like we were too technical in episode 1. One thing we need to agree is that, okay, fine, we can say, okay, we need to create this software in Uganda, okay, in Africa, not a problem, whichever the country. But there's one thing we cannot run away from, and that is we need to stop underestimating ourselves as Africans, okay? We need to have discipline. We have an issue of unity and mindset. We cannot go anywhere if we have these problems. You get me? Speaking about SAMRO, the problems with SAMRO, an example, okay, if we can bring that as an example, the bureaucracy that is inside SAMRO does not allow South African artists to trust the process.
Let's start from the top. What is
SAMRO? SAMRO is some sort of like an organization that came together to organize the music sector, like with copyright and royalty tracking and all that in South Africa. It's the same thing as Kapaso. Tanzania does not have any music system of its own. It has not done anything. You know.
Let's discuss that. And I forget the name. The one in South Africa. You're saying they have some problems.
Yeah. First of all, Kat, the biggest thing here we have here is like, let me give you an example. Speaking about technology independence, okay? Do you know people like me? We face a lot of hardship trying to answer questions like, why aren't you doing this? Where you come from? You get, and sometimes you feel embarrassed, but you know the problems why. But look at our artists, and look, for example, where we are right now. We're on YouTube, okay? Why do we think that YouTube and Spotify are the only way? You know, because when you rely on, come again?
Because that's all we know. It's all we have been given, and it's all we've seen.
Okay. When you rely on YouTube, they control your algorithm. That's number one. They control your payouts. That's number two. We need our own African platforms. You understand me? You get me? If we, for example, software engineers work with the artists, you get, and the government support us, we can build the African YouTube, an example. We can build an African Spotify, an example. You get me? If we build a platform that serves over 1.4 billion Africans, the white man will come and knock on our door asking to be included. You get me? Right now, they laugh at us because we have no capacity. You get? Well, we're just users on their platforms, and it starts with us. You get? We need to stop underestimating ourselves. So even before we start talking about the copyright system and the software that's gonna run it, whether it's in Uganda, whether it's in Tanzania, whether it's in Rwanda, whether it's in Kenya, whether it's in Nigeria, look, we need to first get rid of the white man platforms, not in a negative way, you understand? But we need to at some point be independent. You get me? Do you know that a company like MTN can advertise comfortably on a Ugandan platform better? Yeah.
I was watching there's a YouTube show done by the Boys to Men, and all these old school R&B people from Tyrese to Jagged Edge, they're all complaining that these distributors are manipulating the playlists. If they want to say Nis should be selling now, they'll push Nis, like they push the algorithm for Nis. It's no longer authentic like the way back people sold 10,000 copies and all that. So could that also be the problem? Why even I think Nisoft has the same ideology. Why you all think it's high time, even if we start as East Africa, have our own platform?
Maybe we can allow Nisoft say something about that, because maybe he has his own point of view in that. But for me, I can tell you this, Cuts. If we don't accept to become independent, let's talk about the tours. Maybe before maybe you pass it on to Nisoft. Let's talk about the tours, Cuts. You know, today an African artist is gonna go on a tour in say for example the US or maybe Europe. You understand? You know what? They're gonna be bragging a lot about this tour. Let's look at ISO. You remember ISO Speed was in Africa here? He did a tour in Africa.
Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah, look at that guy. He came to Africa, toured our countries, and was hyped, happy, and proud to be in Africa. You get? Now, but you can't say that tour made him. He was already popular before he made the tour. Where? In Africa. Take that as an example. Yeah. He has toured the whole of the United States of America, all the states, before he considered an African tour. Yeah. Now the attitude we have here, speaking about independency, even before we go software independency, you know, we're speaking about the likes of YouTube and Spotify, etc. Our own artists are desperate to tour Europe and the USA, and bragging, performing for 200 people in London. You get me? In Africa, we have 1.4 billion people. Burna Boy can make a hit and it hits the entire Africa. You get me? Can't he make a tour in all of Africa? You get? Why not brag about touring Africa? If we can make a Ugandan laugh, listen to this, Kat. If we can make a Ugandan laugh, you can make a Kenyan laugh. You understand me? You can make a Nigerian dance as
somebody
as an entertainer.
Alan, just a minute. Now it's going to go back to somebody will say as a Ugandan artist, I can't make a tour in countries where my music is not even played, has not been distributed. So that goes back to Nis, who has to take my music to Rwanda, Canada, Cameroon, Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa, Sudan. It doesn't become, I'll speak for the artist, it doesn't become my problem as an artist.
Exactly. That is where now they need to work with the likes of Nisoft. You get me? Look, Africa can feed the world with content, Cuts. If we love one another and support one another, we become the giant market that the world, you know, must respect. If you demand $100,000 in America, why do you think Africa cannot pay you that. You understand the logic? It is because you have not built the value here. You're trying to show Africans that maybe you think they can't afford you. Look, they can't. So you treat your own people as cheap. You get me? Do you know why this conversation is important, Kat? It's because even before we invite more revenue streams like royalty streams through the softwares and all that, we need to first sort a certain problem here. And it's not only within the musicians, it's also in the cinema, the film industry. Look at Nollywood. It's Nigeria favoring Nigeria. Why not Nollywood open up for Ugandan actors to go and team up with them? Act from within Nollywood. You understand what I'm saying? Like recently, I think last week, Uganda Airlines partnered with some South African actor. Last week, Uganda Airlines. You get me? Why can't Africa forge a certain army that they can work together and build something big, we can go with Nollywood, no problem. Okay? So for me, I think these are the things we need to address first before cuts. You see, the royalty system brings a lot of money, even in your sleep, fine. But if the concert money, you're consuming all of it in cars and houses and women and cities and tours, etc. How are you going to convince that government or that stakeholder that if they give you 10 billion Uganda shillings, you're going to invest properly, and the money that comes out of there is going to feed your children and their children and their entire generation? If just the little money from your concert, you're wasting it as you wish. You understand me?
Now, it's going to go back to why we're having these conversations. Because if you called 3-4 artists and told them in case you wanted something like that, I doubt any one of them could know how to start or where to start. Yeah. Now, you as a software engineer for this conversation, show us what we have to do so that somebody out there picks a leaf, and maybe we can join hands and we could be the pipeline.
MC Cut. Look at is it UPRS? Look at UPRS. If UPRS can come up with a platform, I don't know whether it's the leading governing body for Ugandan music, but an example.
Leading collecting body. Loyalties.
Right. Also not it's a CMO.
Okay.
Nis, what's a CMO?
They just deal in neighboring rights. That is collecting money from bars, hotels, shows, concerts.
Okay. Yeah.
Work on internet. Nis, as from collecting loyalties in bars, hotels. You have the right.
Yeah, we have a partnership with Sound Exchange that we collect neighboring rights, royalties. That is radio and TV, though it is more of internet. So that means, let me say, if someone is making a drive of the concert or these campaigns, there are many ways we're going to collect all fingerprints. I heard you had a conversation about fingerprint. So we collect all that around neighboring rights.
But how do you track it down?
All the devices are connected on the
internet? Plate, say chameleon a baby call.
Exactly. Though the challenge here is, the more partnership you have in every jurisdiction, the more you will collect for these artists.
You partner with who? That partnership is between, say, Omuziki and who?
Let me say we want South Korea. We need to partner with platforms from South Korea.
Oh, okay.
We come to, let me say, Japan. We do the same in every jurisdiction. So the more partnerships we have,
the more we strengthen our jurisdiction of collection.
So whose responsibility is this? Is it for ALLAN, the software developer, NIS, the person who has the platform, or UPRS as, or whatever, federation or government? Or it has to join hands and...
I think we all have a hand in this. Why? We are distributors. The UPRS is a CMO. They must have such partnerships. For example, Eddie Kenzo's music might play in Mexico. They have to have the capacity to collect that money, or to know that Eddie Kenzo has been played in Mexico.
Let me go back to how practical it is. ALLAN, unmute your mic. How practical is it? How practical is it to have software that can track my music, leave alone where this comes on internet? I mean, on radios in Germany, TV in South Africa, bars in London. What kind of software is it even in the first place?
We need to build it.
It's buildable.
Yeah. Yeah. And easily. And look, everything just works around software in the world of technology. MC Cuts. You want to connect to a system somewhere. Hey, maybe you've already secured the partnership, and you want to connect to a system somewhere to help you with the stations and their station IDs and the fingerprinting. All you need is software. Okay? Then you can develop what we call an API. When you develop an API, then you can just tap. Yeah?
By fingerprint. Somebody may think this is normal fingerprint.
No. It's called audio fingerprint. Okay?
Actually, Omuziki is also connected to audio fingerprint. That is how we detect infringers, most so the new uploaders.
Okay,
now let's go to how practical can we do. We go first on NIS, because NIS, you're the vehicle. ALLAN sounds like the fuel, but we all don't know where we are going. We have a car that has no driver. We don't know the Google map. We are just there. So that's why I wish we had an artist from Paris, so that they could be in the lead seat, but they will find it on internet.
Actually, it's funny. I'm sorry to say this, but you'll find most of the artists will fail to answer this question. Why? Their role is to sing.
Yeah.
Right? When you look at this music business, it has a lot of, like the way ALLAN mentioned. Let's look at this as a car. There's a driver, there's fuel, there's the car itself, there are indicators, there are brakes, everyone has a role. We experience a lot of challenges. You explain the basic things to the artist, and trust me, they will consume about 2% of what you've mentioned. Yet you believe you've tried to do your best to be basic, as in basic. For example, Cats, you've noticed recently we've been trying to work on the metadata and some details, legal details,
like national IDs.
Exactly. To bring this in this conversation, when you look at Africa at large, you'll find about 20% or 15% content is published, music publishing, leave alone distribution. Publishing is one of the most hectic process because it requires documentation everywhere and legal documentation. Edwin Katamba is totally different from MC Cuts, much as it's the same person. Now, when we are collecting these royalties, there are parts where we need legal names, like neighboring rights, publishing. We require legal names. You'll come to, let me say, for example, MC Cuts. You request him, okay, please update your name, or we need your legal name. Me, they know me as MC Cats. Don't tell me that. You get the point. So what we really need is awareness. We need workshops to teach the basics. We needn't give them these terms we normally use. We need them to understand the basics, that you know what, much as you're taking music as talent, it is business. We've experienced the same in the gospel world. Someone says, please remove this, remove that content ID. They are striking, yet the email, it displays very well that it is a claim, not a strike. And after like a week or a month, someone will come up, everyone is uploading my music on YouTube and I'm earning nothing. Same person.
Okay, Alan, at the look of things, I think we've exhausted the problems. We now at least know the major 3 or 4. Collaborations, artists knowing it's not only you, the cars, indicators, tires, and all that. You need these people. And we know where the fuel is, we know where the car is. Now, Alan, where is our driver? Where do we start from as Africa? How do we get this software? How do we join hands? Who do we call? Whose responsibility is it?
This is a very simple problem to solve, MC Cats. Very simple. Like, very simple. What we need to do, number one, all artists in Africa should know this is a very simple. Managers, directors, etc. How do we make it simple? What we need are just 3 things. 3. The first one is the software. Okay, call it technology. That's the first one. You remember in the first episode I told you, without technology, you're just bullshitting. You're just wasting time. All of this going to the parliament, I don't know why, going to the president. You get me? You go to the lawmakers in the parliament and they issue the bill, and then all of that, it's a plus. Okay? That is why we praise the Eddie Kenzo and his effort. You understand? But and then you can go to the president, give you money, or whoever, maybe Sudhir Parelia, whoever gives you money, no problem. But if you don't have the technology on your side, you're wasting time. That's number 1. Number 2, and by the way, when I say the technology, I stand on the software, not hardware. You know, I heard something like that, eh? Not hardware, software. That's number 1. Number 2, and by the way, in fun there, you can ask me to break down each for you, okay? If you feel like. Number 2, then what we need are the stakeholders, okay? The stakeholders, who are those? We need the telecom as a partner. We need the lawmakers as a partner. That's where now we put the category of the parliament, pass the bill. You get me? We need the telecom, process our money. You understand me? We need the banks. You get me? And not just every bank. You get? We need just one single bank. Look, if you're going to process money online digitally, and then you're the kind that is distributing here and there, remember every transaction carries a transaction fee. Yeah.
Just jump on that. We made mobile money available in the mentioned countries, but making it available was a tug of war.
The telecoms are not
Not just the telecoms. Remember, this is money coming from all over the world. Money collected from China, money collected from Rwanda, money collected from Nigeria, US, Canada. You understand? Consolidated into one currency. Now,
with different rates.
Exactly. Now, we need partners that understand our needs. When you look at our competitors, if I give the exchange rate in Uganda, the maximum they will give 2,800 shillings per US dollar. That is too low. Meaning, if you're withdrawing $100, you get 280,000.
Okay.
Remember this. Bank or telecom is going again to take a cut of that transaction fees, withdrawal fees. You understand? Now, here in Uganda, we went to Stanbic. They totally failed. And
wait a minute, make sure you don't get sued. Don't mention names. They'll come for you.
Okay, there's a bank we went
as long as it's not it's not a confidential piece of information, there's no problem.
No, it's not. We tried to pitch, but they couldn't understand exactly what we're trying to pitch to them. These are people who also failed. Actually, many banks failed to understand that music is an asset.
I saw a minister saying of recent in Uganda that they're going to start giving them like bank loans, like it will be collateral. Music catalogs are going to be collateral. I don't know how they practice that.
To give
That's
who
why
bank loans?
Collectively,
MC Cat,
people
to give who
understand
bank loans?
and acknowledge that music is an asset. Music is business. Actually, coming back to what Allan was saying, among the things we need, he missed out something very important: the investor.
I was still coming to number
software
3.
Right there.
I was on number 2.
Yes.
Now, Allan, you had getting the investor will come, but let's start with Allan. What Allan said. The first one was what?
This one is the technology.
Okay, technology.
The second one,
Allan. There was a second one. Third one. The second was the telecom. Yeah. Now the telecom.
the stakeholders, telecom and lawmakers, etc., media partners, etc., stakeholders, musicians, all of them under there. Number 2.
Okay. Maybe let's speak for the good of other countries, but in this country, joining all of them is going to be a tug of war. Because
now,
telecoms, artists are saying telecoms are taking a lot of money. What's a person in between?
No, but look,
the telecoms don't. There's a lot of money in between telecoms and ring back.
Cuts, you see. By the way, number three is the money, the finances.
That is the
well,
Anis is talking about.
That is
yeah, those are the three.
Problem is.
Those are the three things that.
How are you going to sell this to a man like Ham, who's doing arcades, shopping malls, villas, and tell him put $1 billion into music? How is his money coming back?
First of all, to help you rephrase that question, okay? What do you think a man like Ham would? And I'll put him in quotes with all due respect. We have many rich people, not only him. So it's just an example in quote, okay? Yeah. Yes. So look here, Kat. To rephrase your question is, what will you tell him, okay, to be convinced to invest the money, okay, into this technology? All right. Here's the answer.
It's what you have to tell me. It's you with the technology. Me, I'm listening.
Yeah. Here's the answer that you can give that kind of investor. Number one, the first thing you're going to tell him is that you need a budget with a clear roadmap on how to do sensitization and education for the artists, for the musicians, and even for the filmmakers. Look, this problem is not only for the musicians, even the filmmakers. That's the first thing before you even bring the likes of ALLAN and any other software engineer. Sensitization, cuts. Do you know you're going to spend? The guy is going to give you 20 billions, and you're going to go and invest it into a certain software, okay? And maybe even partner with all those stakeholders and etc. While you still have a problem of not knowing what is what and which is which and when is when, you get, from the artists. The artists themselves need education on these things we are talking about. You understand me? For any investor to give you money, they need to know how are you going to use the money. Just forget about you're going to buy the vehicle. Okay? You need who is going to operate that vehicle. There is a driver, there is a conductor. You get me? There is fuel, there's engine, there's I don't know what. There's a mechanic. You get me? In this case, who do we have there? The musicians. Okay? Cuts in episode 1 I asked you, out of all the musicians in the Uganda Music Federation of Eddie Kenzo, if it's out of 100%, which percentage can you sit down and ask about this whole entire copyright system and its whole entire implementation and what is evolving in there, and tell me that percentage? You're going to find very few, or you're going to even make a mistake because these are your friends and give a big percentage. You understand? So any investor wants to first understand how are you going to implement this before you go ahead and build it. That is the first thing they need to know. This is where we are going to put the biggest chunk of the money. If the government gives you 2.5 billion, 500 million might go into the development, but 2 billion will go where? Into the implementation, sensitization, making noise, educating people, etc. Even a common Ugandan, now let me add you this. Even a common Ugandan, a common Kenyan, a common. Let me just add you this. Let me just add you this, Katz.
Okay.
So someone in the comments asked from Kenya that, for example, for them they have these public service vehicles called matatus. Okay. These guys play music from morning to sunset. You understand? Let us use that as an example of a typical citizen that consumes music at that highest level, but you need to make him understand that okay, from tomorrow onward you're gonna need to pay. You get me? Sorry if I may pass this out. There's something called Okusika Omugua there in Uganda, and it's a big rope too. You know, to pull.
Allan, just 1 minute. How are you going to tell a normal Ugandan you have to start paying for Ugandan music? They will fly to Nigerian music. They'll fly to another. Unless you're going to say it's going to be a 360, even foreign music is supposed to be paid for.
Of my conversation, the mentality, and they're not loving one another. Why are you playing Jamaican music? And yet there's Chameleon, there's Eddie Kenzo, there is Biabakul, there is Queen Sheba.
And the
you understand me?
Free.
What?
Because the Jamaican music may be free, or charging me for Chameleon's music or Bebekul's music. So I go for free things.
Back to the drawing board. The money that the investor is going to give you. How are you going to use it? Number one, sensitization for both the musicians, okay, the art industry, and the consumers. Even the media houses need sensitization. You get? At this juncture, you just play music of any artist of your choice. APAS release new song, you play. You know? ALLAN Tonics release new song, you play. You get me? Who actually brings you more relevance, or who actually brings you more viewership whenever you play their music? How do you quantify? How do you verify? How do you get those metrics? Back to the drawing board of sensitization.
How do I quantify that? Allan, minute. You know, you're so informed and you're living us scattered in every box. You're reading every box half full. What kind of software, what kind of machine is going to say Kenzo's song made so many people view this particular show? Give a case of After 5. Do we have some sort of software that can do that?
Sorry, but I told you this in the first episode, MC Cuts. The software that we are supposed to build to address the music copyright system is the one that is supposed to deal with this. And do you remember the key things that I told you that can make up this?
Yeah, I remember.
I told you about the
more major.
Yeah, and then something called direct stream capture for internet radio and IPTV. Okay. Now, right now, apart from premium channels, all televisions and radio stations in a country like the UK and the US, they are all on internet radio and IPTV. But right now, you might go online and fail to stream NBS TV. An example.
They have a promo. They have an app of their own.
Yeah. But that is because it is their own. Now there should be a platform which is a national platform for the entire country.
Okay,
which doesn't
let me
exist.
interject a little bit. Yeah, you are a software engineer. I've noticed this in Uganda. All these TVs have built their own personal apps. Pastor Kayanja has an app. New Vision, Bouquet Day has an app. And when you go there, they have their particular TVs on. They don't like interject. NBS has an app. I don't know if NTV has an app. Is that the unity of the stakeholders you're talking about? It's high time we join hands and all these apps get to one deal. Then this, as you I could call him, get into the ditch, get the app one bucket. I feel like most of my country, that's good because they all think you're injecting into their business. Like you're starting, I've been okay without you. What can I tell them? Make them want to come into my basket. More so, are they gonna make more money with that? Or we are just free because right now, like they say, if this is business, the personal, the big explain.
If all local media houses have their own apps and websites and streaming platforms, okay, how in the world are you going to report any form of streaming? You need a unified central place or hub where you can monitor all of this. You remember last time we talked about streaming reporting, we talked about publishing administration and content ID systems. How in the world are you going to fetch all this information if each party has their own like music playing platform? How are we going to have reliable data pipelines? And in these reliable data pipelines, rights holders, like for example, the musician, the songwriter, the producer, you get me, the entire management. How are we going to be able to audit and verify if each media house has its own, here and there and there and there and there? We need one central place.
So honestly, Allan, let's talk from a perspective of the African way of thinking. So you think the stakeholders who own these things will allow that to happen as long as you're going to start peeping into their money? Because now you're going to get into details. You have to pay songwriter, you have to pay for my song, you have to pay for the producer, you have to pay for the person who mastered. And now me as a podcaster, if I notice there's a you take it from me, you think I would allow you to make me join your together stakeholders.
Cards. First of all, earlier on I asked you a question about YouTube. You remember what your answer was? Now,
all we know.
Excellent. But how did you say? We. All we? It's collective, eh? Now,
no.
Why is YouTube? Yeah. Why is YouTube able to bring all of you guys together, and so you can consider it the all you have platform? Because you guys are how many in Uganda? How many musicians are in Uganda? There are more than 100. And now I'm coming. I'm telling you the truth.
Last time they were coming at Uganda.
Yeah, you guys are more than 100. Okay. Now, if you're more than 100, how many are the media? How many are the media houses? That's it. To be able to create a platform that is strong. You get me? You see, right now we are addressing Uganda, but this is a platform that can address the entire African continent. You want a very sorry. You want a very superior platform. You need to bring all the stakeholders into one place. When you bring everyone into one place, you have combined marketing, you have combined resources. You get me? You have combined even decision making. You get me? That's the fact.
So, Alan, what's puzzling me and what I think we may leave this conversation without a solution is combining people.
But I gave you the solution.
Just a bunch of no. You're talking of filmmakers. You're talking of producers, directors, artists, TVs, radios.
Mm-hmm.
In my country, as per Uganda, that's going to be one of the hardest thing to do. You run like you're running for campaigns for president.
Yeah, but I just gave you the answer. Why is it that someone can join YouTube today and make $5,000 next week?
Honestly
you understand?
Speaking, I've never known even who told. Because we are all watching Netflix and we're paying for it.
Another good example you have there. Good enough. You have very good examples.
Me think. I'm trying to think. Who told us that the only solution is YouTube? Who told it to me in particular? And I don't. I just knew that it was. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So we need to put aside our egos. That is how I began my conversation. We need to put aside our egos. We need to solve the mindset problem. Okay? What is the right thing to do that will benefit all of us as a bundle? You get me? And not only for Uganda, but Uganda can do it as a test pilot. Passes, distribute Kenya, bring in Rwanda, bring in Tanzania, etc. Bring in Nigeria. Look, the problem can solve everywhere. Cuts. Picture if you had if Uganda had a platform like those examples we have talked about, and all the revenue comes back into the country. How much will the government be making tax-wise? Are you getting me? That's another big stakeholder. You understand me?
But you know, to some level, in my head, what I'm thinking that even the people we are talking about, government and the stakeholders, don't have this information. And can you start giving us solidified numbers or concrete examples that say you said you're very well versed in Nigerian way of doing things? I want us to break down that say Nigerian government gets kind of income from music stream ABC because I'm 100% sure most of us have no knowledge about what you're like there's some money in the air, it's somewhere in the space, but we don't know even how to collect it, get it from.
You mentioned Afro Mobile. Afro Mobile is benefiting Next Media 101%.
Yeah.
You get me?
True.
If Next Media picks $1 billion and invests into content creators and brings all that content into Afro Mobile, all the proceeds are theirs. You have no say. You understand?
That the smart ones are doing that. We have NRG Play It Loud doing it. Even King is doing it on Afro Mobile. He's collecting content and putting them onto Afro Mobile. You're right, man. Now I see why. Yeah. Now I see they're signing all these chaps. Oh, Play It Loud for. Okay, continue. That's opening my eyes. I now know why NRG is signing all the content creators, all the celebrities. Mr. King and NBS is also doing this. You're making sense. Okay, continue.
That's exactly the point. Okay. Now all of these stakeholders, all those media houses, okay, the media houses, the musicians, okay, in general, the content creators, okay, all of them, the government, etc., the software engineers, everybody, they must come on the same table in order to create this software and to solve this problem. This, I'm telling you this, if people want to cut this and I don't know, spread it where, let them cut this carefully. Without all these stakeholders coming onto the same table, all of this copyright system topic is just a wastage of time. I can guarantee you that.
Explain that to me, because they are going to cut. They're going to cut out that. So explain why it's all a wastage of time.
If I can build a platform and make my own money, okay, I can pay cuts. I can pay all the entire music industry in Uganda to feed me with content. Okay, and even someone like Kat does the same. Someone like Edgar does the same. Someone like Samantha does the same. Someone like Jonathan does the same. All of us are rich human beings feeding our own stomachs. But how much are we giving the artists? I can pay you $10,000 to give me rights to put your music and everything for a whole year, okay? But how much am I going to get paid in advertisements? Are you getting what I'm trying to say? I'm gonna get a deal from let's say, I can say which one. Okay. Let me give you another example.
Say iPhone or something.
Let me just give you another example, which is much straightforward. I mentioned Nollywood earlier, okay? All right? Right now, there is no Nollywood actor or actress that does not admire shooting a movie or going into a project with Prime Video or Netflix. You get over their own production houses. You get me? Why is that? But does it mean that your production houses cannot pay you as much as Netflix will pay you or Prime Video? You get me? That is because you
pays more.
Yes, but even your own production houses can. That same example, you can just replicate it to the thing to do with awards. Why our artists keep on, I want to get nominated for Grammys, BET, blah, 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 blah. Why not create your own East African Entertainment Awards? Why not create your own African, whatever, Entertainment Awards? You see, you split your efforts. Everyone wants to do their own thing. Everyone wants to earn their own money. Everyone wants to, you get me? You're not combining the efforts. But what's the problem if you combine the efforts? How does Netflix do it?
I think
Netflix.
Thing I heard from a rich man said the rich will stay rich because they know how to use the poor.
Thank you. You got it very well. Netflix is going to collect all the production houses worldwide. Netflix can collect all the production houses worldwide.
Right. Okay, you've totally just brightened my mind. Like, why don't we even have our own YouTube? Who told us we should be on YouTube? Or who told us all movies have to come from Netflix? Who is the god of movies or Netflix? You really broadened my mind. I hope somebody else got it. Now let's go back to PRS, because copyright, it looks like we shall have to come back here with somebody technically doing it. What do you think is PRS gain from this? Because for them, totally, UPRS is going to come into clubs, into tea and radios, banks, hotels. I really don't want them going to every hotel in Uganda, taxi in Uganda. That is absolutely impossible. What are they going to do?
First of all, how are they doing whatever they are doing right now? Are they doing it manually? like they come and knock at your studio and be like, "Cut, you need to pay."
Yeah, they have like a levy of charge, and every club, and taxes and all. As per se, radio pays some amount of money per year until that 5% sure. But how it's distributed, what I heard here say, allegedly, depends on if your name is big, no. Your name is Africa, get your 300,000 out there.
Okay. So, are those the ones that are paying 30,000? An example, in quotes, an example, to a Ugandan artist at the end of the month or the year?
End of the year.
At the end of the year. Now, where will the Ugandan artist get to be satisfied that this 30,000 is all that I can earn in a year, in 365 days? You get me?
The last time
This
I
man
checked, they went on, but then it was Twitter and complained. And after the complaining, I don't know. You know the thing with us, Uganda, when they see you making a lot of noise, they put you aside and give you some pocket change. So most people, they give them pocket change and they keep quiet. Most of the ones who have loud voices, like your voice is big.
Yeah, so
What's up?
now that tells you the mindset issue, okay? The mindset issue. That alone is a big disease that we have, and not just Uganda but Africa. You understand? You can silence me with with a million Uganda shillings. I don't know. You get?
Let me also give you some insight. I'm not in trouble for this one, but do you know, practically, again, allegedly, like I've been asking, how are they going to collect all this data in hotels and cinemas and all that and radios? They were supposed to buy equipment for all these places, for all hotels, all supermarkets, all taxis that will collect information of how much music is being played. I was like, this is a total crazy shock.
Yeah, so let's call a spade, okay? Because Katz, you see, now you're on a show which is being watched by so many people, okay? I think about today I was seeing people from Europe into episode 1. Now this is something that is going to even benefit people in European countries growing like Poland. You get me? Finland, Hungary. You understand me? Say, it is a problem that is affecting many people elsewhere, okay? But Uganda can be different. Africa can be different, okay? You understand me? The thing is that greed is a problem. Mindset is a problem. You get? Jealousy is a problem. You get? But I just gave you the solution. Let people not think that we have not talked about the solution. We have talked about it. And those are just 3 things. And I can repeat them anytime. The first one is the technology. The second one are the stakeholders. The third one is the finances. That's it.
So finances in this terms of government.
Finances can be government or investors. It can be a private company. By the way, let me tell you this. Like there is someone, I think that person is from where? Is it London? I don't know where. In the comments of the first episode, you know, yeah, the person said even startups can do better on this one and faster.
What a startup!
Yeah, a startup is like it's like a new business, you know, a new business. A new business, a new company that nobody even knows.
Like I said last time, we shall keep it 1 hour.
Right.
So, tell me the practical way of how UPRS, that's the body that's collecting whatever royalties of artists. How practical is it for them to collect loyalties of all artists all over the country. What are they going to do? Are we going back to the software game?
Yeah, to the software game. And I don't know why they missed out here. I wanted to listen to them and understand how exactly are they doing their day-to-day operations for royalty collections and all that. Because if it is manual,
on ground, we'll get them some time.
And no problem. They can meet us next week, somewhere next week.
Sorry.
You see, what they need is to simplify things. Okay? To simplify things. You as UPRS, how are you able to track Ugandan music that is being used in so many videos on YouTube? Just answer me that question. If I use Eddie Kenzo's music
asking the practical algorithm of like a supermarket, a club, a hotel, how are you going to pick that information?
We discussed this in episode 1. We need the direct stream capture and audio fingerprinting. And then we shift all that technology in a software or into a software.
How does that happen? A hotel that's in Barara, a hotel that is in Bundibujo, a hotel that is in Tororo, a supermarket in Kampala, a supermarket in Kawempe.
Well, once we have built our own software, we create an API, okay? An API system, all right? We send connection requests to social media platforms. An example. Most of these people play this music across social media platforms, okay? YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, etc. Okay? You try to play a song, or you try to use a song that you do not have rights to, you cannot proceed from there. But playing it locally, you know, like for example on radios and etc. Yeah.
I'm giving an example of like DJs in nightclubs. How are you going to track those ones? The entire country.
First of all, where the artist releasing the music. That will tell you where does this DJ get the music. Yeah, you find the artist has already posted. Yeah, on YouTube. Okay. Now, when you create your own kind of platform that is supposed to help you address this issue, artists stop posting on YouTube for a certain period of time. Not immediately, not instantly. You get? It doesn't mean that you don't post, but not instantly. And then, but what you do through the API endpoints, you have a programmatic partnership with YouTube. Your music is there on YouTube, but it cannot be used in any content, even though you have not posted it or published it on YouTube itself publicly.
So there could be a software whereby you can go to YouTube and listen, but you can't.
Yeah, that's possible. That's possible. YouTube allows you to download only for premium users, isn't it? Yeah, as an example, they give you the download option as how can I put it? As a premium user. You get? You get me? Now, if you create your own system or your own software, if you create your own software, the first thing you're going to do is, if you want to capitalize on revenue, people listen and leave it there. No downloads. Now, that is if they're listening from that particular platform. If they are going to listen to third-party platforms through API and programmatic connections, you have already authorized those third-party connections to allow play, but not downloads. Also, to do not allow reuse, okay, or distribution. You understand?
Yeah.
It's very simple. DJs will be able to play music, but not download the song, unless the artist gives it out from a certain source for free. And that will be their problem. Meaning they will not be complying. But then if you have an organization like UPRS.
What? Questions whereby
Yes.
what of a situation whereby me I got it like legally, then I share it on airdrop. I share it with other DJs on airdrop. How are you gonna track those people?
On airdrop. It's also something simple. MC
Yeah,
cards.
probably me I got it. I paid.
You
But I go on giving it out. Airdrop, WhatsApp, documents, email.
yeah, it's very simple, okay, to do that. What you do is that for a person who plans to redistribute, okay, their own amount of money they are supposed to pay is higher because you want to redistribute it, okay? You understand?
How will you know? How will you know? How will you find me?
Okay, this is it. This is it, and this is where you need the lawmakers, MC cards. Okay, if you say, okay, fine, you want to redistribute the content, all right, you're going to pay such and such an amount of money. After you've paid that amount of money, there is also some agreement you're going to sign digitally on that system. You're not authorized to distribute in such and such and such and such and such and such, including but not limited to etc etc etc. And again, that is where you need the lawmakers. Okay,
all that can be done urban centers. I'm looking at a DJ deep down in a village who has shared a song to another DJ on WhatsApp. How am I going to track that DJ?
We are going. That means that for platforms, WhatsApp is another social media network. MC cards. The same way you can programmatically instruct any software in the world to do A, B, C, D. You understand? You can instruct WhatsApp. If someone tries to share this song,
block it.
Block it. So if you share the song, but the other person says, okay, it's like I've seen a file you've shared, but I can't play it. You understand?
Yeah.
We use something called an API, and then we programmatically communicate with any software on this planet. Through partnerships, we contact Meta, we speak to Meta, we tell them what our plans are, we tell them what our software is and what it's supposed to do, and also we tell them what our software is carrying. So they will understand. Then we give them an API that is private, expose it off only to them as Meta. And I'm using Meta as an example. When Meta receives the API endpoints, their software will be able to treat all that content that comes from that endpoint with respect to ABCD instructions. That is the only way you do it. Do that with all social media networks in the whole world. Any social media network fails to comply, sue them. You understand me? You get me?
You know, ALLAN, it's going to be a big job. I'm not even now looking at only stuff. Are you talking a huge job in the entire Africa?
This is not a huge job. It's going
to be a process. It involves
this is not a huge job.
Growing and growing.
Cuts to bring all these stakeholders on board. That was under point number 2. The stakeholders, even these social media networks, bringing them on board is not a problem. It's a simple thing. Just establish communication. Tell them whatever you're trying to build and what it's supposed to do and how you want it to work with. You get me? Because at the end of the day, they are also trying to maintain the transparency in their platforms. You understand? So they'll be willing to listen to you. But what you need to do is that what you need to prepare is that you need to have a proper software engineering team, whereby if you create APIs, those APIs do send communication programmatically the way you want them to. If you make any mistake there, audio is going to leak. And finally, any communication you send programmatically through APIs is as well tracked using audio fingerprinting back into the original software that is handling the copyright system for the country or for the continent. You get?
Even my own head,
and that's why I told you
like
it's simple.
It's like I've been in a lecture of technology and economics and science. My head is already rotating. Like there's too much we have to do, Alan, man. Too much.
In fact, in fact, you can even enhance the API endpoints properly by sending and by even sending some toast notifications, whereby if someone shares a song through WhatsApp, not only does it refuse to play on the other side, but it's gonna tell this person that this is licensed what property, and you need to or content, whichever it is, and you need to purchase it, and to purchase it, follow these instructions programmatically. You pass that.
I said the comment sections that we should keep these episodes coming for today. Let everyone take that back home. I feel for me, my head is already too much. I will be back here. We'll be back. Alan is as volunteered as a software engineer who's traveling the entire world to work on this for the good of his home country. He doesn't live in Uganda, surprisingly. He's doing all this work outside. Alan, I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm going to try as hard as I can to get either Eddie Kenzo, the head of UPRS from Uganda. I'm going to do whatever it takes. It's only that today they were in Bara, they're up and down, but I'll get one of them. Yeah? And for the health checkups, I try out these. These are herbal tablets. They help like energize and rebuild your body with all whatever. Let it be pressure, cancer. They just stabilize your body. Try them out. And I remind you, people who are shipping things all over the world, most so from America, United States, go to www.nilecargo.com. They ship back into and Rise and Shine. It's a beautiful school in Uganda. It's like the international school. Alan, bless you. Let's talk again, man. Let's just drink some water and get this information. Bless you. Thank you for being with us. MCSK Talks. Subscribe here.